today to continue the great topic that Reverend Lisa proposed for this month, which is constant companion. Now, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I am very grateful. I'm extremely happy. Amen. As a matter of fact, I'm comforted to know that I have a constant companion. Yes. That there is something or someone that I get to spend all of my time with. Yes. No matter where I go, it goes. It's a permanent complement that mirrors all that you are, all that I am, and all that there is. When we look into the mirror of our mind, it looks back at us. When we look out into the universe, everything you see and all that you can't see is your constant companion. When you're meditating, when you become quiet in the silence, and even when you're surrounded by the clanging cymbals of noise, that constant companion is always there, awaiting your recognition, awaiting your tuned-in ear. Because you can hear it when it's quiet, and you can hear it in the midst of your confusion. All that there is, all that God is, you are an inseparable part of that something that we call spirit. Spirit is your constant companion. That's why Reverend Lisa asked you to pay a little attention to chapter 3 in your text this month. She wanted you to know that spirit is the essence of life that's apart from physical environment. She wanted you to get understanding that when you activate your self-conscious principle that knows itself, it gives you the freedom to be all that it is. Spirit is the essence that we call God. It reveals itself to us as a harmonious trilogy, defined as spirit, soul, and body. Now, there are three distinct entities, yet they are necessary for the manifestation of creation. God as spirit took form. He took form because he wanted to give us something we could feel, so we know that his love was real. Come on. Can I get with this? Spirit became all things by consciously seeding the subconscious soul and producing a spiritual body. Spirit, soul, and body were revealed to us as intelligence, substance, and form. Ernest Holmes goes on to tell us, he says, like all principles, spirit operates through law, which is its nature. Therefore, all things must be the action of spirit as law. You see, the action of spirit must be within itself. It must act upon itself, which is law, and it must act upon universal stuff. These three are truly just one Trinity. Simply put, the Trinity is the process by which God makes all things out of itself. God makes all things out of spirit. That's why Jesus told the Samaritan woman by the well, he said, we should worship God in spirit and in truth. He was telling her that the source of wisdom comes from within, not from this physical expression. You see, Jesus came for only one reason. He came to define and demonstrate the law and nature of God. He came, as Scripture tells us, that we may have life and what? Have it more abundantly. That's why Reverend Lisa told you last week that your constant companion's job is to supply you with joy. A joy that comes from understanding. And understanding that changing things for the better is always possible. Your constant companion is always with you. But you know, being human, we got problems, we got issues. You know what our biggest problem is? We want it when we want it. And we want it how we want it. But we don't want to put the work in to get it. I don't care what your situation is. I don't care what the challenge is before you. You want it to change, and you want it to change just because you say so.
That's right.
And it will and can change. But there's something we have to do. Some participation on your part has to take place. See, this idea that it has to happen now, that's a grown folks idea. You know, when you come up a little bit, you think you know everything and you got everything under control, then you think you can manipulate your life and what happens. But Scripture urges us to be a child of God. Not a grown person of God. A child of God. Because when you are a child, you have the faith and the trust that your father and mother will provide. You ain't worried about how, you ain't worried about when, you know sooner or later it's coming. Those who belong to Christ, those who are a child of God, those are the folks who live in the Spirit. Those are the folks who trust and surrender to the Spirit. That's why Revelation directs you towards Galatians 5. Because the way of the Spirit is the way of the Lord. It tells you that the fruits of the Spirit are love, peace, patience, gentleness, goodness, and faith. These are your constant companions, but they only come alive through your use of them. They exist, they're around you all the time. But until you call something forth, ain't nothing happening, ain't nothing moving. Now, you know, I often mention a theologian named Emmanuel Swedenborg. And I know all of us who are of this New Thought persuasion think that New Thought is something new. But Emmanuel Swedenborg was a metaphysician who wrote many books and gave many sermons, and he was a philosopher, he was a psychologist, he was a well-rounded individual. But he was born in 1688 and stayed with us until 1772. New Thought ain't new, y'all. It's been around a long time. And as it pertains to spirit, this is what he wrote in his dissertation called Each of Us Inwardly Are Spirits. He says, anyone who thinks things through carefully can see that it is not the body that thinks, because the physical body is material. Rather, it's the soul, because the soul is spiritual. The human soul, whose immortality has been the topic of many authors, is our spirit. It is in fact immortal in all respects, and it is also what does the thinking in our bodies. This is because it is spiritual, and the spiritual is open to the spiritual, and lives spiritually through thought and intention. So all the rational life we observe in our bodies belongs to the soul, and none of it to the body. Actually, the matter that is proper to the body is an addendum and almost an attachment to the spirit. Its purpose is to enable our spirit to lead its life and perform its services in the natural world that is material in all respects and essentially lifeless. Since matter is not alive, only spirit, we can conclude that whatever is alive in our spirit, and that the body only serves it exactly the way a tool serves and lives an activating force. It only works when you're working. We may, of course, say that the tool works, moves, and strikes, but it is a mistake to believe that it is property of the tool and not of the person wielding it. Since everything that is alive is in the body, everything that acts and feels because of life belongs to spirit alone, and nothing belongs to the body. It allows, I should say, it follows that the spirit is the actual person. Now, I know we all in love with all of this and all of that. But the spirit is your constant companion. The spirit is the actual purpose. What Swedenborg wants us to understand is that the body is nothing more than a servant to spiritual understanding and truth or lack thereof within us. Our spirituality initiates all of our activities and our experiences, just as spirit initiated all of creation through thought and intention. The physical appearances and material existence that you have fallen in love with is just a facade. That love you saw in them is just a mirage that must be supported by the spiritual understanding and faith that you can only acquire when you understand that you're a spiritual being. Your five senses are no more than tools that must be used righteously for a divine result. What you think, what you say and do are the results of your spiritual understanding or the results of your spiritual ignorance. Either way, it's your constant companion. Either way, it's always working. It's always right where you are. You see, this message that has been delivered by great theological minds like Ernest Holmes and Swedenborg, it corresponds and reflects and replicates the Holy Scriptures of the Old Testament as well as the New. The Bible tells us that the Lord is our constant companion. It mentions it in the Old Testament in Deuteronomy 31 as well as in the New Testament in Hebrew chapter 13. Now we're all very familiar with Hebrew 13 and 5. It says, do not be carried away by the love of money, but be content with what you have. For the Lord will never leave you or forsake you. Amen. In this passage, what Paul is trying to let the Hebrews know, the Hebrews, those were folks who were exposed to spiritual truth, but still had a tendency to go left every once in a while. So Paul is telling the Hebrews, he said, those whose consciousness have been raised from a material or higher spiritual understanding, yet you still fall victim to ideas of fear, sin, and death. He's telling those folk to fully embrace the Christ mind, because that is the only way your life will contain peace and love, is through the acceptance of Jesus. Hebrews 13 and 5 and the verses that follow tell us this. They say, don't allow your moral essence, your inner spiritual nature to be compromised. Don't get greedy and become unethical. Don't let your craving for material pleasures compromise your true Christ-like nature. Be content with what you have and give thanks for where you are. It's telling you no matter the situation or circumstance, your constant companion will never leave you, nor will he forsake you. He will always be by your side. Why? Because spiritual law will never change, and it's always available for our use. There's no need to fear what any man could possibly do to you. All you have to do is stay focused on the Word of God that empowers you to do all things. All we have to do is have faith that our constant companion is the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow. But the New Testament, just like New Thought, it ain't new either. Moses said it a long time ago in Deuteronomy 31, 1 through 8. You get out here with a light and let me see. And Moses went and spoke to all the words to all of Israel. And he said to them, I am 120 years old this day. Must have been his birthday. I can no longer go out and come in, and the Lord has said to me, you shall not cross the Jordan. Everybody gets tired of it. The Lord your God will go over before you, and he will destroy these nations from before you, and you will possess them. And Joshua shall go over before you, and the Lord has said. And the Lord shall do to them as he did to Cheyenne, as he did to Og, as he did to the kings and the Amorites, and as their lands which were destroyed. And the Lord shall deliver them also before you, and you shall do to them according to the commandments which I have commanded you. Be strong and of good courage, fear not, nor tremble before them. For it is the Lord your God who goes with you, and he will not fail you nor forsake you. Then Moses called forth Joshua, and he said to him, in the sight of all of Israel, be strong and of good courage, for you shall bring these people into the land for which the Lord has sworn to their fathers that I should give them, and you shall cause them to inherit it. And it is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not fail you, nor will he forsake you. Fear not, neither tremble, or be dismayed. Now Moses gave that message a long time before Paul spoke to the Hebrews. You see, Moses, like some of us, had gone as far as he could go. He was 120 years old. He was in that period of his life that we want to call divine probation. He was ready to step aside and let somebody else take charge. But Moses had done his job. He had brought the Israelites out of Egypt. He had brought them from darkness of material understanding. You see, they were enslaved in Egypt. Our spiritual essence had been subdued by all of our lust and our greed. And after fulfilling his assignment, after bringing them out, after allowing them to develop in consciousness the law of a spiritual being, one that would cause them to be able to reveal their full potential, he decided to pass the torch to Joshua. He wanted him to lead them into Canaan, into the promised land, into a position where they could redeem this body consciousness. You see, Joshua, he represents the initiation of that Christ presence. The beginning of the Christ mind started to take shape within you. He said Joshua must go before you. Because when you end the consciousness of the Christ mind, then you're able to destroy Cheyenne. You're able to put down that animal nature and all of your fleshly desires. With Jesus as your guide, you're able to overcome odds. You're able to get rid of that error thinking that has plagued you all of your life. You're able to conquer the Amorites. You're able to conquer sin and death by purification of the mind and body through your thoughts and your deeds. You see, Jehovah, the I am, the Christ mind, is and always will be your spiritual companion, your constant companion. The Christ idea of yourself. When you embody the Christ mind, you're able to overcome all obstacles and any challenge. That's why Scripture says, be of good courage. To be of good courage means to recognize the spiritual qualities that live within you. That constant companion that allows you to remain calm in the midst of all of your difficulties. You know, in the news, everybody's focused on those young boys in Thailand. I understand 4 of them were brought out this morning. But whenever they show that clip of the boys in the cave, this comes to my mind. It says your constant companion allows you to remain your strength, the beginning of that Christ consciousness, the attitude that saves and delivers. Jesus is the complete realization that you have a constant companion that lives, moves, and has its being within you, that will never leave you nor forsake you. And when you accept him, that's when you think righteous thoughts that purify the subconscious. That's when you allow the law of the Lord to reveal its power in your life. That's when you're able to cross over the Jordan. That's when you're able to cross through all the uncertainty of the good things and sometimes bad things that appear in your life. Spirit prevails over the body. When you allow spirit to prevail, then you can enter the promised land. Your high spiritual consciousness is the thing that will take control of those lower ideas of king. What Paul was telling the Hebrews, what Moses was saying to the Israelites, is that God is, Spirit is, the law is, Jesus Christ is your constant companion. But you can choose to ignore his presence. Oh, yeah, it's there. It's always with you. But you get to choose how much or if you want to acknowledge that presence that always surrounds you. You can look up or you can look down. You can look outside or you can look within. That constant companion can't be seen with the naked eye, but can always be felt with your heart, your soul, and your spirit. That constant companion is always by your side. That constant companion occupies a special place in your heart. That constant companion provides a solid foundation of faith. That constant companion will respond to your every need. That constant companion will pick you up when you fall. It's the constant companion that will make a way out of no way. It's the knowledge and understanding of that constant companion that gives you a life of joy, peace, love, and happiness. But it won't force itself on you. You're going to have to reach out and accept it with arms wide open, with mind wide open, with an intent to do the best, be the best, and accept all the best that life has to offer you. There's some work you got to do. It ain't hard, but you got to do it. You got to recognize His presence in your life as your life. You have to unify with His divine purpose in your life. You have to realize its unlimited power to shape your life. You have to give thanks for each day, which is an expression of God's life. You got to realize that all things to the spiritual power that is life and all of life, and allow your constant companion to take charge of your life. Spirit is as spirit does. God is as you do. Enjoy.